Hey, how's it going, everybody? Brad the Fixologist here. Recently, my neighbor reached out to me. He's an elderly gentleman. His name's Ron. And I've helped him with a lot of stuff over at his house in the past few years. And, whenever he has problems with this or that appliance or whatever, he knows he can holler at me. And usually I'll try at least to, fix it for him and maybe save him a little bit of money. So he called me the other day and asked me if I could take a look at his HVAC system because it was not kicking on. He said he had already ran it once and it worked, and then for some reason it stopped working and would not turn back on. So with that in mind, I went over there. A little backstory: back in the summer, I worked on his air conditioner and determined that his thermostat was at fault. So he had his son go to Walmart or whatever and get a new thermostat that I installed. And that's kind of where we pick up, and that's a little bit of the backstory of what's going on here. But anyway, I went and started to troubleshoot this thing, and I wasn't going to make a video of this, but it just started getting more and more interesting, and I started taking more and more clips of different things about this particular model HVAC, which was a Lennox Pulse system HVAC, which I think according to him, is about 30 years old or more. I think they started making this particular model, or last updated this particular model, in about 1988, something like that. I think I read somewhere. So it's an older system, and I told him, I was like, man, if you have somebody come out and look at this thing, they're probably going to look at it and try to replace it, because that's usually the MO of most of these HVAC companies. They'll come in, and especially with elderly people who don't tend to know a whole lot about this stuff and sort of go along with whatever the expert says, they'll want to upsell them into a new whole system. And I've seen that before, and I'm sure some of you guys know that does occur quite a bit. So I was trying to help the dude out, get it going and prevent him from having a huge HVAC bill on a replacement system that he didn't necessarily need. So we're going to pick it up part way into this. Let's get into this troubleshooting. Okay, so here's that little hatch where these the spark plug wires are supposed to go. So the plug wire comes out of here and through here, and there's another one that comes here and down to there. So there are the burners. Found the burners. Problem is, I can't see anything. I mean, I see where this comes in and I can feel it. So up in here, I can feel the wire goes down. I can actually feel the spark plug, but it's way down up inside of there. So you can't see it, and I couldn't get a tool on it. I don't know how they get tools on it unless they take this whole damn panel out somehow. What do? They take this whole thing out to get to it? That's got to be what they do. They'd have to take... So they would have to probably take... Is there another access? I don't see another access for it either. So that's weird. But anyway, there's the fan switch right there. So that cover right there is usually on it. I took it off. So this is the board right there. That's like the control board underneath that. As you can see, there's it looks like, well, you can see where stuff's plugging in there. Service instructions for red diagnostic light. Wait, is there supposed to be a light? If light goes out, see service manual. So there's a light there. Does it blink for service? Probably does. All right, so here's what I want to do. Now that I know where the burners are, and I might even be able to see what's going on, I want to try it again. And now that I know that there's a light here, I want to see what's going on with that too. But this is a Lennox Pulse furnace. This is a model number LB50527CC. Here's a little bit more information on this particular one. So the symptom that we have is will not heat. The fan and everything comes on, but no heat. So I presume we're getting no fire, and probably no fire because there's no flame. This model uses, like I said, spark plug. You can see right here. Where is it? They've even got the spark plugs listed on here somewhere. Right there. There it is. So we got a sensor and a spark plug. So that's these two wires that are going in there. This will be the sensor and that'll be the spark plug. right there that go up inside of there. And like I said, you could feel where the wires come out, and you can kind of follow them down to a point. But I mean, good luck getting those out of there. I don't know how the hell are you supposed to just reach up in there with a tool. I don't know, and I don't want to go screwing that up, to be honest with you, because I just don't know enough about it. You know, I know, obviously I know what this stuff is. This is the switch for, here's our valve for our gas coming in. And all this is the control for all of that. You know, so all this is familiar, but it's just how to get to it, you know. Like this panel right here is not here on my furnace. This doesn't exist, and the blower is underneath here. This is the pressure tube for the pressure switch over here, and then there's another pressure tube sensing the air pressure here to make sure that this is blowing before it will allow, you know, the furnace to light up. But I just want to check one thing. We'll see if we can get this going. I've got the thermostat upstairs calling for heat, so when I flip this switch, hopefully we'll see something go down in here. I don't see a light in there yet. There's nothing. Give it a second. So it's not doing anything at all. The light isn't even coming on. If the light is on, cycle the power off and back on. If the light stays on, replace the control. If the light goes out, see service manual. I think we got a bad control board. All right, this is the control board. I pulled it out because we're getting nothing at all. It doesn't even, the light doesn't even light up on this whenever you put power to it. And it says here, service instructions for red diagnostic light. If light is on, cycle the power off and back on. If the light stays on, replace the control. If the light goes out, see service manual. Do you have a, you probably don't have, you have a owner's manual.
I got the owner's manual. I never got the service manual.
But, so this is where the spark plug plugs in right here. And I just want to see, I'm going to crack this thing open. But yeah, you know, I mean, there's a lot going on with this.
No kidding.
I could take this to the bench and try to test each one of these parts individually, but I was hoping I would see something that was obviously burnt.
Ain't nothing burnt there.
I don't see anything obviously burnt.
Obviously burnt, right. What do you think a part like that would cost? If you could find one on the internet somewhere.
Probably $50, something like that, maybe.
Shit, I'd throw $50 at it just for laughs.
Just to test it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I said, nothing's coming on at all. The thermostat is calling for heat, so, you know, we've got... This thing it's calling for heat. Heat's on. And I've already tested this, and it's brand new, this thermostat, so that's fine. Say what now?
I say what would cause power from even getting to there?
Well, I think power is getting to here, but it's not.
Well, the light's not coming.
The light's not coming on, so there's something wrong on this board.
Something wrong.
I believe there's something wrong on this board.
Let's get a new board.
So there's a couple relays right there, and I mean, those could be stuck. You could have an open winding on this little transformer here. I mean, there could be any number of little things that you wouldn't see necessarily, but could still be the problem.
Yeah.
Well, the back of this board looks okay. I don't see any obvious problems, and no solder breaks or anything like that I can see offhand. That doesn't mean there aren't any,
so either power's not getting to that board, or the board is bad. Otherwise, we have the red light.
I think something on this board is probably bad, but...
Let me see if I can buy that board somewhere in the world.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt to do that, and it wouldn't hurt to have a spare, because one day this board is going to go out, and it wouldn't hurt to have a spare. Okay, we got a replacement. We got a replacement for this. Anyway, we found a few of these online, and they vary in price from like $500 down to like $80 or something. The cheapest one that claimed to be used and good. So anyway, we're gonna get this in there to replace the one that I suspect was bad. We'll see how it goes. Okay, calling for heat now. Yeah, I got it at 79. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see what happens when I flip this switch. should tell us something if whether or not we get a red light in that little hole right there. If we get a red light, I think we're okay. I don't see one yet. Oh, wait, that's different. That's different. I think that's heat. I can hear it. I think that's heat. Am I wrong? A couple minutes later, that did not fix it. There's no heat coming on, and there's no light on this unit. So we got some bigger problems. I'm gonna see if I can scrounge around and find the service manual for this thing. See if I've got maybe a friend who can slide me one. Okay, I was able to track down the manual for this, the service manual on Scribed, and it does have a troubleshooting flow chart that we're following here. So we have a will not run condition. The first thing I gotta do, the door switch works, and I can tell that pretty easily because if you can actually hear it hum, and if I take this panel off and the switch moves, it stops humming, so I know that the door switch is working, plus the AC works, so we're good on the door switch. I know that for a fact. Now, come down here. Is the blower door closed? That's a yes. Now, next we have, is 24 volts present across the terminals? It's kind of hard to read, but I believe that says W to T on low voltage strap. So this is our low voltage strap right here, and we're gonna measure. It actually gives us a reference number. You see the little reference number right here? That's referenced in the following page where we have this right here. So this is number 1. We have to test from T to R. So we'll check that right now from T to R and see if we got 24 volts. Is it volts DC or AC? AC, should be AC. It's not rectified, it's just 20. Okay, we got 27.8 volts actually. So we're good there. We have, that's about what we should see. All right, so number 1 is good. So that's a check. We're gonna say yes on this. Now number 2, check for heat demand at the unit. That's gonna tell us whether or not our thermostat, I guess, is calling for the correct heat. Check for heat demand. T and W, no, that's number 2. Really hard to read this flow chart, but luckily when we've got these numbers here on the following page, it's given us a little clearer picture of what to do. So we've got to go from here to T. So let's do that. We've got 8.2 volts, 8 volts right there. Is that right? Is that correct? How many volts are we supposed to have there? Is 24 volts present? No. Check out and repair thermostat and or wiring. That's interesting. Okay. We've got some additional lines coming off of this. What's this wire nut connecting to? Safety switch? What is this? 24 volt AC safety switch. What is this thing? Okay, so stupid me, I forgot to reinstall the box. I had it out since last time I was down here troubleshooting on this thing, so I've replaced the box. And now I'm getting nothing. 0 volts at that point. Let's see if I can show you. Yep, right there. 0 volts. This might be a thermostat problem after all. Okay, so I've temporarily bypassed this safety switch right here. This is a switch that it runs up here, and it will actually detect when there is a clog in the AC drain line. So if this fills up with water, it actually will shut this off. It'll break a switch. So that's good to have, but I bypassed it for a second because I wanted to take it out of the circuit. So I've got my red wire going direct here now. And with that out of the circuit, I want to do one more test here. I want to see if we can, let's see if we can get this thing just shorted. We're going to go R to W here. Let's see if we can short it and make it come on. Okay. I hear the purge fan kicked on. Seems to be going. What I want to look for here is a red light inside of there at some point in the process. So we're further along than we have been so far. So what we're doing is we're taking the 24 volts that come. Okay. It's trying to start. What does that sound? It stopped. What was that all about? Wow. I think this purge fan is dead. See if it tries again, because that did not sound healthy at all. It's trying again. You hear that? There's a purge fan inside of here, and I think it's the bearing is going out on it, because that doesn't sound good. Sounds terrible, but I wonder if it'll go ahead and start regardless. That really does not sound good. Maybe it's just got to run for a minute. Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. Something else kicked. We've got the blower. The blower is now on, and we have no lockout signal. Okay. I wonder if we have heat. I wonder if it has heat. Right now, that blower fan is still going, but it really sounds bad. I'm thinking that thing might be on its last legs. Let's go see if we've got some heat coming out of some vents. Let's see what we got. We got heat? We do.
All right.
We've got heat. I can smell it even. I can smell it burning off. I can smell it burning off. You know, every time you start the heat.
Yes.
First time in the winter, it always burns a little bit of stuff off, and I can smell it. It's burning. You got heat. It's a thermostat.
All right.
Thermostat, buddy. That's the best possible scenario.
Yeah,
Best case.
$35 problem. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of a.
10,000.
Yeah, instead of yeah, exactly,
Yeah, all right,
exactly. So, all right, cool.
All right,
Well-
what do we do to fix it? Just get another thermostat?
Need another thermostat. Yeah. Well, actually, let me first see if I can finagle that one. Okay, so our switch up here is working. You can see it moving, so we know there's heat. You see that right there? That switch? We know for a fact there's heat because that has moved upward. It's actually rotating. It's still rotating, so it's working perfectly. Other than this loud blower motor. So that thing, we might want to keep an ear or an eye out for this thing, the blower motor there. But other than that, I think we're good. I'm gonna kill it. I want to see if, because I'm the one who installed this thermostat when they bought it, and it's not that old. I mean, it's maybe a couple months old, something like that, and he got it during the summer months. So it's only been working on AC so far. But what threw me for a loop is the other day he said he turned the heat on and it worked for a little while, he thought, and then it stopped working. So I was thinking, well, it can't possibly be a badly wired thermostat. So that threw me for a loop. And I'm thinking now that possibly when I installed this new thermostat, that maybe I mixed the wires up on the thing, or did something I shouldn't have. But you can see right here, red goes to white, and that's how we have it shorted. So that's when it's calling the heat, those things have to be shorted. So let's go look at the thermostat and make sure we've got everything there proper. But we're gonna kill this. I'm gonna simulate the thermostat turning off the heat call by just unplugging it. Okay, so the blower motor is still blowing. What do we have here? We have a light that's continuously on. But we're just gonna let this blower motor blow for a little bit. We'll go ahead and take this off completely. Okay, even our red light went off on its own. So there's no faults or anything that I can see here. And this blower motor is gonna cool everything down and make this switch shut everything else off. So that should shut off in due time, but in the meantime, we're gonna check out the thermostat and see if I've got that wired appropriately. Because like I said, it should be. I'm wondering, maybe I got the wrong white wire? I don't know. I just couldn't say. All right, I'm gonna document my screw up here. So I installed this Honeywell thermostat. Ron's son bought it at Walmart. Like I said, back in the, a couple months ago, Ron, maybe? During the summer months. And he's only really run AC since then. He thought that when he first turned on the furnace this winter, that it did come on. But he must have been mistaken, because I'll show you why. So I've got my meter set to measure continuity here. And I'll show you what's going on. So, Ron, would you do me a favor?
Sure.
Can you hold this probe right there on that little... Yeah, right there on that pin. All right, so here's the thing. I should see a short between, this is, one of these is the red and one of these is the white. And you can see which ones I have marked. These are the ones I installed on. But when I go from this mark to this mark, the ones I installed on before, I've got open when it's calling for heat. Right now this thing's calling for heat, but when I go up one, that's where my short is. So either the documentation for the thermostat was wrong, or I miscounted on these and installed that wire in the wrong spot. So what I did was, this white wire right here was installed here. Oh, I can see exactly why I did it, because there's a big freaking W right here. There's a big W right there on the one that I installed it on, basically telling me to install it there, but it really needed to go there. So this ought to solve the problem, hopefully, because right now we've got continuity between this one and the second one up. And let's turn off the heat and we'll test that. So if we stop calling for heat, so we'll turn it off.
You gotta press save.
Oh, my bad. It'll do it on its own too if you just wait. Right. So right now it's off. It's not calling for anything. Okay. So let's flip her. Ron, will you do me an honor again?
Second pin.
Yeah. That one right there. So now we ought to be able to just drag across, and we'll just drag all of these. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, all the way down. So yep, we've got open there. So that is correct. Now it's off, but when we turn it back on, it's going to be that pin. So this is going to work now.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we've rehooked up this safety switch. So now that's so now the 24 volts that's coming out of here is going through. It's going up through this wire, through this safety switch, back down the other wire that's attached to the safety switch, and going to here, and then upstairs to the thermostat. And the thermostat should now work to make this thing call for heat. So I'm going to turn it on. Hey, Ron. Hey, can you turn it, make it call for heat? Okay, Ron's going to make it call for heat from the upstairs now, so we'll see what this does. And I believe we should get some results, hopefully. There it is. There it is, switched on. I can hear it. Yeah, it's working. Okay, looks like we've got a result here. Okay, let's just let it run its course for a second or two here. Okay, so there's our purge blower. What the purge blower does is it purges out the system before it lights the fire, and I think it does that. Okay, now our blower motor's on, and I think it does that. It purges that out because it needs to make sure that it's evacuated of any gases or anything like in there that might explode. I think it's a safety feature. And also it gets all that air moving so that there's exhaust, so that the when the heat does kick on, that all that CO2 is already going to be being purged out the exhaust. So we've got fire right now, and that's on. So, and we can watch our little switch up here. We should be able to watch it move around as this thing heats up. And eventually what's going to happen is when it gets up to the uppermost limit up here, that's the limit switch, it's going to turn the fire off. If it ever gets to that point, it'll turn the fire off and let the fan continue to cool off the heat box. All right, so yeah, really stupid thing. It was just kind of a comedy of errors, and it was just born out of the fact that I was told that it had already started this winter, and the labels on the thermostat were wrong. They were in the wrong places. The big W on the side there that looked like it was for the white wire, it looked correct. So my bad, I suppose. But anyway, there's that. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have, hit subscribe down below. And for now, we'll see y'all later.